the Chamber of Commerce is talking about expanding the boundaries of downtown, allowing much denser development in which are now kind of referred to as the buffer zones. Do you agree? And if so, how far out does that go? Assuming, would you like to start?
Sure. Would that be R4C area?
Well, again, I'm trying to, there's a lot of concern in the crowd about R4C and heights.
Yeah, I really believe density should be limited to D1 and D2, especially in this trend of demographic population decline occurring in the city. I personally feel there is no need to jump and take density outside D1, D2 area. Because I think even those of you who do advocate for density, jumping these boundaries is sprawl. If we are going to go into single home neighborhoods and put up these huge Moravians, that is sprawl for me. We should, till there is definite population increase trends in Ann Arbor, we should keep density to D1, D2 downtown area.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we've been going through and actually finished a very long process of finding a consensus on the rezoning of downtown. About a 6-year process that we finally came to agreement with, and many hours of citizen involvement and input as we worked through that process, several stages to that process. And we've recently, if you've noticed, been working to preserve a neighborhood over on the 4th and 5th Avenues, one of the older neighborhoods in town that is adjacent to downtown. I'm a big believer that density should be in the downtown area, in the D1 and the D2. We've been working in that direction for a long time, and I think that it's something that we should hold on to. I look at it as a bargain that we've made with people, where people have accepted density, where we are having folks come out in great favor of a 14-story proposal for Zaragon 2 that fits with the zoning that we've put in place. When you see a building proposal that's been put down in the city, it's certainly going to be something that we found not to be palatable, not to be something that fits in to the fabric of the particular neighborhood in which it was proposed.
Fine.
I believe the question began with the Chamber of Commerce wants to expand the boundaries. And it's not for the Chamber of Commerce to expand the boundaries. That's not their purview. So I'd like to correct that right away. We just went through, and I say just 5-6 years ago, went through renewing the DDA. And with that, it was throughout the whole community. It was a dialogue, and the boundaries remained the same. There was a discussion about increasing the boundaries, and the boundaries remained the same. Through the whole zoning process after that, we did the residential task force. We went through the Calthorpe process and the A2, D2, and we established where the highest density buildings would go. The R4C and the R2 areas outside of that ring are being looked at right now. So there's a task force that is looking at what the definition of that is. And I hope primarily the outcome of that is that we end up not getting buildings, these big blocky 6-bedroom apartment buildings that we don't want. Because that seems pretty clear that in the community is not something that we favor, is these monstrosity buildings that have no character, and they have lots of room for many students to pack in. That's not what we want in our adjacent neighborhoods.
Fine.
This is a great question. It's being asked because at the moment our city is developing by exception, granting PUDs in those buffer zones. They're called buffer zones to protect the neighbors and neighborhoods in which those folks live. I will tell you that our city needs development. We have to grow or we will entropy, but we must grow sustainably, and we must grow in ways in which we have open, honest, forthright dialogue. The mayor said he favors, in fact, density downtown, yet voted for PUDs. I'm not criticizing him. I'm merely pointing out that it's difficult with the current way zoning is handled to be consistent. We need consistency. Should those zones be expanded? Let's have the discussion by all means. I can't do it unilaterally, but my gosh, isn't it past time? where we as a community have come together and talked about just this topic.